My name is Samuel, aka Simba, which is my trail name. In the summer of 2024, I set out to hike the Pacific Crest Trail alone. So today I'm going to be talking about shoes on the trail. Shoes are a huge part of hiking because they're a necessity, and they're what's protecting your feet, and your feet is what's moving you along the trail to your destination. So they're a huge part of hiking, one of the biggest parts, and it's important that you have the right gear and right shoes to best suit your hike. Otherwise, your hike might not turn out great. To start, this might seem controversial because hiking boots are normally used for hiking, but I would not bring hiking boots on trail. They're a little too sturdy, they're too big, they're too heavy, they're a bigger cause of blisters. Also, they're a lot less mobile, so it's harder to fit your feet around the rocks, or it's just harder to move quickly or efficiently on trail. So that's why I would not use hiking boots. Second thing I would do, as you've heard probably from many people, is break in your shoes. I saw actually, despite everybody knowing this, a lot of people, the first time they were wearing them was the first day on trail, and they accumulated so many blisters. They were always in pain. It was not very comfortable for a few weeks on trail, and some of them had to get a different pair of shoes within the first week because their shoes just did not work and did not work for them. So that's another thing I would definitely make sure you do, is breaking in your shoes, which is really important. I'm very glad I did this. Okay, another thing I would do is don't bring any waterproof shoes. So on any trail, there are going to be river crossings, and yes, waterproof shoes are good for river crossings that are just really tiny, but as soon as water gets into those waterproof shoes, it's almost impossible to get it out, and your shoes will always be wet. Your shoes will dry after going through a river crossing, but if you have them waterproof, they won't dry if they get wet. Yes, they might prevent a few river crossings, but majority of them are going to be over the lips of your waterproof shoes. So I would not bring those and just bring regular shoes because they will dry out. Promise you, and I promise you that's gonna be a key thing. I saw a person with waterproof shoes, and they had a miserable time the few weeks they had them, and they quickly changed. Okay, fourth thing you should make sure about is make sure you like your shoes. A lot of people will start out and they just don't like the shoes, but it was recommended to them, or it was supposed to be good. Other people like them. It's all about you and how you like your shoes. So it's not about if someone else thought they were good. It's about if you think they're good, and make sure your shoe is right for you, because otherwise you're just not going to have your feet will not be happy, and your feet are, as I said, a key thing to your hiking and your success. So make sure you have comfortable shoes that you like. The fifth one is, I know this might sound obvious, but don't push your shoes past their limits. A lot of people I saw did not change shoes, including me. I actually needed to change shoes more than I did, and I changed shoes every 400 miles. I had Hokas, and they wore down relatively quickly, but not too quickly. I saw a guy at 700 miles in, and he had a pair of Hokas which have very thick soles, and 700 miles in, you could see his heel. His heel was touching the dirt, basically. You do not want that. You want your feet to be safe. And once your shoes get to a certain point, there is a chance that they can just completely fall apart. And you don't want that while you're 40 miles away from town without a shoe on your foot. That's just not going to be good at all. So make sure you replace your shoes when they need to be. Your feet will be happier. And also, it's just takes off one of those risks that you have on trail, and just makes life easier and nicer. It's so nice to put on a new pair of shoes after having your old one. It feels like you're walking on clouds for the first few days. Okay, the sixth tip I would recommend is, a lot of people would buy their shoes in stores along the way. I would send your shoes as soon as you realize you might need a pair of shoes soon. This is not when your shoes are already falling apart. This is as you're realizing your shoes are slowly deteriorating. I would send them to the next town, because first of all, your shoes will quickly deteriorate. Once they start deteriorating, they quickly deteriorate. It's not a very slow process like it is to get to the first step. So I would send them to the next town, so you know that you're going to have the same shoe, because a big thing is people arrive in the store. First of all, the shoes could be twice the price, and hiking is very expensive. And so you're not going to be wanting to spend a lot of money on shoes when you could get them for a lot less. And And the second thing is half the stores won't carry the shoe that fits you perfectly that you're wearing. So it's really important to send your shoes ahead, which is really easy, and then you can pick up your shoes, and it'll be a lot easier and better, and you don't have to worry about also what day you're arriving and the hours of the store, because you can just pick up your shoe, and also you'll know it will be the exact same shoe. Another thing is your feet, or some people's feet, will swell as they go along the trail. I know people who went up 1 shoe size, even 2 shoe sizes, because of their swelling feet on all the pounding of their legs, and over the miles their feet just swelled. So just keep that in mind when you're hiking, that your feet may swell, and it is completely natural, and don't worry about it, but it's something that might happen. It never happened to me, but I know over half the people I saw on the trail, their feet definitely swelled and they went up a size on the shoe. So just keep that in mind when you're hiking. Okay, I hope these shoes tips were very helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what other tips you want about through hiking, and thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Awesome.